Welcome to my first ever free electronic music gear follow-up video. Freebeat. Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Today's patron shout-out goes to Ingerlish. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So over the span of almost 3 years that this channel has existed, I've occasionally received some free gear from manufacturers. That's really nothing new for YouTubers. They get free gear all the time. And of course, I'm very, very appreciative of any company that sends me anything. However, if you've ever seen one of my gear reviews for a device that I receive for free, you'll know that one of the first things that I always say is, here at Freebeat, a favorable review must be earned. It cannot be bought nor bribed. I value honesty and integrity, particularly between me and my viewers, more than anything on this channel, and I do hope that you can all trust that when I say something, you are getting my honest opinion, 100% of it. So today I want to do something that I haven't really seen any YouTubers do, and correct me if I'm wrong, there could be someone else who's doing this, but I want to do a follow-up on the pieces of gear that I've actually received for free and let you know my evolved thoughts on them, you know, as time has gone on, where they stand in my workflow and arsenal, and just, you know, how I'm feeling about them. So let's get into it. So the first device I received for free, I don't even have on me, but it's not because I don't use it. It's the EndTech DMX USB Pro. It's a little DMX to USB adapter. And EndTech actually sent this to the channel before we even had 1,000 subscribers. I was looking for a way to control some DMX lights for the very first live stream show that we did on the channel, and they were kind enough to send one. I was originally going to make a video using the EndTech light controller box I was originally going to make a video using that box and the OPZ to control some lights, but of course, unfortunately, my OPZ is really no longer functioning, basically, so that video never came to be. But I have used that EndTech box for every single live show that this channel has done. All of the live stream shows, the entire light shows for those shows have been controlled by this EndTech box. I absolutely love using it. It is so easy to set up, and it works with, so far, all of the DMX lights that we have, which as of now I believe is 8 little pars, 2 moving heads, and 2 spider lights. I think that's it. We use the box in conjunction with the free software QLC Plus, and my friend Oliver programs all the light shows, but this little EndTech box has proven to be one of the best things the channel has ever received. Again, it's used at every live stream show. And actually, the reason I don't have it on me right now is because that same friend of mine, Oliver, is a middle school band and theater teacher, and they're putting on a musical right now, and his light board died for the school. So he's actually using this little EndTech box to run the light show for an entire middle school's production. I know it doesn't really apply to a lot of what my viewers are here for, but I just have to shout out EndTech again for the DMX USB Pro and hooking it up, taking a chance on the channel. I do plan on doing a pretty in-depth video with this box as we get closer to the summer live stream show, which should be announced by the end of this month. So stay tuned for that. Next up, it's the Arturia Keystep 37. Arturia was kind enough to send this out to me, and this has become my primary MIDI controller away from the computer. I absolutely adore this thing. I loved it when I first got it, and I still love it to this day. I believe I've had this for over a year now. Yeah, well over a year. It's just a great little controller. It's fairly compact for being 37 keys. You've got aftertouch, velocity sensitivity. They are mini keys, but we do have 37 of them, which is nice. Pitch and mod strips over here, but my favorite feature on the Keystep 37 has to be the chord mode, specifically the strum feature. This lets you, for instance, take a monosynth, like the Korg NTS-1, set a chord type, which of course it will not play on something like the NTS1 because it is mono, but then set the strum and allow you to strum through that chord. And as long as you've got some reverb and delay going, you can really flesh out any mono synth with the strum feature. One thing I just remembered to say about the previous device, the EndTech USB DMX Pro, is that if I hadn't received it for free, would I have purchased it? Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes, 2 thumbs up. Same thing with the Keystep 37. If I had not received it for free, this would have been a purchase. So much I/O. I've never even used the CV output because I still don't really understand it. That goes for any of my gear that has CV. I do plan on learning in the future though. But yeah, ton of great I/O, the ability to power either with an adapter or USB Type B full size, which is really nice. 4 CC knobs for controlling, of course the fantastic Keystep sequencer and arpeggiator. A feature that I didn't really even notice until people started pointing it out were the LEDs above the keys. Really handy for indicating like where you are on the keyboard, as well as quick changing MIDI channels, setting your gate, your scale, swing, all of that. It's mostly plastic, but I've actually dropped this several times, embarrassingly enough, and it has held up. This thing is built like a tank. The price is right, coming in less than $200 US. Absolutely love it. 2 thumbs up for me. Again, if I had to buy this with my own money, I absolutely would, and would have 0 regrets. Next on the list, it's the Akai MPC Studio version 2. This is a MIDI controller exclusively for the MPC software on Mac and PC. Akai hit me up last summer and asked if I wanted to take a look at their new MPC Studio controller. I said, well, I'm not really a software guy, and they said, oh, what the heck, take a look anyway, and they sent it out, so thank you to them for that. This has sat in my closet for the past 6 months. I have not touched it. I like the design of it. It's pretty slim. USB Type B. The pads are probably the best finger drumming pads that I own. The main knob here is nice and clicky. I love the rubber buttons. They're still clicky, but they're rubber, really nice, or some sort of rubber material. Not a big fan of the touch strip over here in the place of Q-Link knobs. You can check out my review video if you need to. But basically everything in that video stands true. This is a great controller for the MPC software. However, that's all it really works with. It doesn't work with anything else. It won't even work with the MPC-1 standalone. So yeah, I don't use the MPC software. When I want to use MPC stuff, I bust out the standalone. The only DAW I really use on my computer is Ableton, and admittedly, I don't use it that much even. So yeah, this just sits in my closet. Is this something that I would buy with my own money if I had not been sent it for free? Definitely not. Pretty useless for me. Finally, it's the Arturia KeyLab Essential 61. Arturia sent me this keyboard at the end of 2021, and it quickly became my main keyboard for sitting at the computer and working in Ableton. Before getting this keyboard, I had everything separately, so I had like a keyboard with the Keystep 37, then I had my Launchpad Mini over here for launching clips, then I had my Novation Launch Control XL over here for my mixer and all that stuff. The KeyLab Essential 61 just basically took all that and smushed it into one unit, gave me 61 full-size keys instead of 37, gave me a physical undo button, which is just the best thing ever. Why don't more devices have an undo button? Come on. Like I said previously, I don't really use DAWs that often. When I do, it's just Ableton Live Lite. But one thing I do use this keyboard for a lot that I was not expecting is with the Analog Lab software. The software that came with this thing just kind of blew my mind. I was not expecting it to be something that I would use so much. It's basically a ton of presets for some of the most famous synths in history, and you can just play through them right there in the software. It also works as a plugin. It's standalone and it works as a plugin, I should say. Very, very cool. I did not know that it was going to be such a big part of my, even DAWless workflow. And when Arturia sent me an email about the keyboard, they're like, yeah, if you could feature the keyboard in a video, and we'd really like you to take a look at the software and feature that. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. I use this software so much. I sample into the OP1 with it. I've sampled into the Deluge. I sample into the PO33 all the freaking time with this software. It's just great. And of course, having the faders and the knobs on board is cool. The pads aren't that great. I will admit that. They work in a pinch for finger drumming, but for clip launching, I still keep my Launchpad Mini plugged in just because there's so many pads on there. Those are not velocity sensitive though, so hopefully a Launchpad X might be in my future, but I don't really use Ableton enough to justify it, I don't think. Speaking of not using Ableton though, the KeyLab Essential 61 has a 5-pin MIDI out, which means it can control a lot of hardware, and I do use this with my MPC One all the time, and I've recently started using it with the Deluge as well, off camera, because that's quite a cumbersome setup to film, but it works like a charm. I don't know really what else to say about the KeyLab Essential 61. It's just a solid, albeit budget. I mean, the keys aren't, they're not going to change your life or anything like that, but it's just a solid keyboard with all the DAW controls that you'd expect and some of the coolest software that I've ever used. Would I buy this with my own money if I was not sent it for free? Yes. Yes, I definitely would. I think it still comes in at less than $300 US, and just for the software alone, that's a bargain. And then you throw in the keyboard as well, which has really improved my Ableton workflow. I'm working on a Pocket Operator album right now, and while I'm not using the keyboard on the KeyLab, obviously because I'm recording with the Pocket Operators, I do use all the transport and DAW controls on there quite frequently. Again, that undo button is just the best. So there you have it, the admittedly small amount of gear that I've been sent for free and my continued thoughts on it. Here we are, 6 months later since I got the last piece, 5 months, I guess. I'm curious as to what you all think about this style video. I don't know, maybe every year or so, or maybe every 6 months, depending on how often the channel, gets sent gear. We are growing quite rapidly, which is pretty overwhelming. Thank you for that, though. I do appreciate it. Would you like to see honesty check-in videos like this? I kind of had a fun time filming it. It was nice to talk about some of this gear again and get some props out there to the companies who took a chance on a small channel and sent some stuff over. I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. New content every single day. Tomorrow we're going to be playing some music, I promise. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.